Greetings, jelly spoons, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Madness, the show on Mondays, funnily enough, where we do, well, absolute chaos, to be honest. So today I decided I'm going to do a pretty random video, and I have absolutely no idea what's going to come by the end of it. Basically, I asked a load of people on my Discord server to give me random words, and a bunch of them are now inside this skull cup. Now I have these words because today I am going to create, before your very eyes, a fantasy world. If you guys would like to use this for your D&D games, write about it in any sort of fiction you want, I do not mind. I give you free license. You may use whatever it is that I create in this video. And please, down in the comments below, chuck me your ideas. Tell me if you've written any worlds, any D&D worlds, anything that you've done, any homebrew content, that kind of thing. If you're writing a story, any place settings, anything you like, anything you have created, chuck it down in the comments below. I would love to hear all about it. Preferably long paragraphs if you can. I love reading lore. So, how are we going to do this? Well, I have got words inside this cup, and I'm going to pull them out, and whatever sparks from my crazy imagination, that is what we're going to use to create this fantasy world. I have no idea whether I'm going to just do a country, a little bit, a whole place. We will see what comes out of the cup, and we will find out. But first, a word from my sponsor, which is, once again, myself. If you would like to support me in the chaos that I create, I have a Ko-fi and a Patreon. On my Patreon, you can join us and support me every single month. This means you get bonuses and perks and all the behind-the-scenes features. You get to vote on various things. At the moment, I'm creating my one-year movie project, and people on my Patreon got to vote on things like the Neverbird puppets, eye color, that kind of thing. You get to tell me what you think of what I'm doing, and you get to see the behind-the-scenes looks before everybody else as well, of course. Also, people on my Patreon will get to choose and take home one of the fantasy creatures that I create to take part in the movie. And if you support me on Patreon or Ko-fi as well, then you guys get to design a little fantasy creature which I'll put into the movie as well. If you can't support me monthly on my Patreon, that's absolutely fine. I'm a very large commitment, I am aware of this. You can toddle over to my Ko-fi page, and you can chuck me support on my Ko-fi as and when you would like to. Also on my Ko-fi page, you can find my personalised character message commissions. If you would like to send a message of a character wishing your friend, your loved one, or someone a happy birthday, a Merry Christmas, that kind of thing, whatever it may be, happy anniversary, etc., etc., I can do personalised in-character messages. Or hey, if you want one just for your very own, that is also fine. Currently on offer, I have Kingsley Tea Leaf, Mollymauk Tea Leaf, and Lucien the Nonagon, Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Peter Pan, one of my most popular characters. If you would like a personalised message from any of those characters for you or for somebody else, hit up my Ko-fi commissions page. Alright, on with this fantasy world. Okay, so, I have not decided whether I'm going to start with like a town and then work outwards, or start with the world itself and work inwards. I'm just going to see what happens. So, we're going to pull from the cup. Anyone who is watching this video who is on my Discord channel, you now know why I asked you for random words. Alright, let's have a look. Word number one is one that I'm immediately going to have to go and look up. Alright, the word is Vellichor. I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. Right, pause for a second while I go and look up what the heck this means. Aww. Alright, thanks to a quick Google search, I've discovered it is actually pronounced Vellichor. Alright, and it means the wistful, musty smell of a used bookshop. So, it would be too easy to say we're starting in a bookshop. We are not. We are going to make the entire world, and the entire world is going to be called Vellichor. Alright? Welcome to Morky's Fantasy World. It's called Vellichor. I hope you enjoy it. Now, immediately the word Vellichor, I kind of want to say it like that. I want to say it like I'm an orc from Mordor, Vellichor. But I think you could also say it like an elf, and, you know, I'm sort of pucked up today. Vellichor, Vellichor. See? You change your voice and immediately the word takes on a different meaning. You start speaking like an orc, Vellichor. You start speaking like an elf and it's Vellichor, a fantastic village in the midst of the Feywild. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Vellichor as the name of the world, and I'm gonna go for the softer lilt. So what is the world of Vellichor about? Alright, Vellichor, I'm going to stick with the meaning of the word here. Vellichor is going to be a world that is all about preserving things. They keep knowledge and history alive, they want to keep memories going, they write everything down, they're great storytellers. Think of characters like Cypher from Castlevania, you know, constantly telling the stories of the ages and gathering more stories, and then there are groups of people who painstakingly write these all down just so they can preserve them. And the whole world has a beautiful, wistful sheen to it. Alright, so welcome to Vellichor. Alright, let's pick another word. I picked two. Alright, we'll go with both. Alright, so word number one that's just desperate to escape because it's on the top of my hand is one I can actually pronounce. LORIEL. See, I just think of hair when I think of L'Oreal. Alright, so we've got L'Oreal, and we have also got this one, which is, try and open it on the screen, and Sonder. Sounding very elvish right now. Let me go double check what Sonder means. Sonder, noun, the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. So, that works really well. So, Vellichor then, the world of preserving things and understanding one another and keeping histories and cultures alive, I think that works. So perhaps in the world of Vellichor then, the word Sonder is a title. or a job description. Maybe there are sondeurs and people who work up to all their lives to being a sondeur and becoming a sondeur. And maybe that is a title of really great rank. Maybe it's on a par with being a king or a queen, that kind of thing. So sondeurs would be the people who have the greatest understanding of everyone across the world. Maybe most of the population of Vellichor are very understanding of one another, and even if they have differences that they can't settle, they still appreciate other people because they're different. And because they're brought up on all these stories of history, they understand that every other person is just as complex as they are, whether or not they understand each other or, don't even speak to each other. You could be a stranger, but that doesn't mean they're any less complex than you are. Alright, and the sondeurs then are the people who travel. Maybe they're the people who travel, so they're not the people who are writing down the histories and the books and everything. They're the people who are getting the stories, and they are communicating between far distant realms. Not just political leaders, but like the lower class people as well. Everyone across the world gets spoken to by sondeurs. Perhaps becoming a sondeur actually means that you get an extended life as well, so that you can witness more of the world and speak to more people within it, and you can take your time. The leisureliness of the sondeurs as they walk wistfully through this world, and they enjoy every second of it, getting to speak to people and see how the world changes over time. Yeah. Where the hell is L'Oreal gonna come into all this? Alright, L'Oreal. I kind of want that to be a name of an important person. Maybe it's a deity. L'Oreal. I don't want to go with something sea related because that feels really obvious. It feels a bit like Ariel and the sea and all that. So L'Oreal. And it also sounds a little bit too like, Lothlorien. I don't want it to be a forest, that kind of thing. So L'Oreal, maybe L'Oreal is a tower. So L'Oreal is a tall tower covered in ivory and beautiful flowers, and when the sun hits it, the marble stonework dances and sings and all that kind of thing. And if you go to the Tower of L'Oreal, you need special permission to go and read all of the books. The history of the world is open to everyone, but these are like the first edition copies, as it were, the first records of everything that ever happened. Maybe it's part of becoming a sondeur as well. You have to go into the Tower of L'Oreal and then you have to prove yourself somehow. I'll let you guys decide about that in the comments, but L'Oreal is the Tower of Knowledge. Alright, let's pull some other stuff. Alright, let's go. This one, alright, what's this one saying? Jesus. Dysplasia. 90% sure I know what this means. Let me just check. This is science. So whoever put this in, I love you. So dysplasia then. And it's to do with cells, abnormal cells, something like that. I can't remember. I read it 2 minutes ago and I've already forgotten. So dysplasia then. Dysplasia is within the context of the world of Vellichor. Dysplasia is, I don't want it to be a place because dysplasia, it sounds like a place. Dysplasia could be a disease. Could be a disease that's ravaging parts of the world, and some people are desperately trying to look through the history books to find out what's going on. Yeah, dysplasia is a disease which is eating away at people's memory, and maybe their soul as well. And it's not spreading rapidly, but it's spreading just enough that people are starting to get scared of it. And they're not sure how it's transmitted and where it's come from, but anyone who catches it slowly starts to lose all their memory. A bit like dementia. There you go. Dysplasia, dementia. There we go. And maybe it sort of blackens your eyes, and maybe it darkens your tongue, something like that. And I feel like it should have like blood dripping out of your ears just for the effect of it, really. And it like blackens your fingernails. So you get like really dark fingernails, like crusty blood fingernails, and yeah, your eyes go all dark. And that kind of stuff, because it's just cool. So dysplasia, yeah, it's a disease that's slowly infiltrating parts of the population of the world, and it makes you lose your memory. And maybe some people are desperately trying to get a hold of the original records of memory so they can try to look back in history and see if anything like this has ever come before. And maybe some people are angry because they feel like some history is being kept from them, because surely there'll be something about it in all these fantastical records, but nobody has found anything yet. But maybe the truth is that some of the people in the Tower of L'Oreal have been looking and there's nothing. And maybe they're scared. Maybe that's like an undercurrent of something that's going on, that people are scared and they don't want to make the public scared, so they're hushing it up. And they've literally found nothing. So yeah, dysplasia is a disease now. Alright, so on with the next. I might use all of these, they weren't that. I didn't pick all of them. I picked the ones that were there when I logged in the last time. Oh my fucking Christ. Okay, I'm gonna pronounce this. This is the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious of words. All right. Floccinaucinihilipilification. Floccinaucinihilipilification. Bear with me one moment. This is a really cool word. I looked up how it's pronounced and I've already forgotten. Floccinaucinihilification. I ain't saying that again. All right, I'm gonna use the definition of the word rather than the word itself. Goodbye, floccinaucinihilification. The word itself means the act or habit of assuming other things are worthless. So I like that, and we can incorporate that sort of theme into the world. Maybe there's a group of people who think that the way maybe there's a group of people who think that the way Vellichor runs is not good. Maybe there's a group of people who don't want memory, but they're being forced to remember things they don't want to by a society that says, but memory is great and should always be cherished. And these people are saying, well, I want the right, this is turning into a pro-choice debate. But I want the right to be able to modify my memory or get rid of my memory or donate my memories. Maybe there's, memory banks, for lack of a better word. People donate memories, but most often they're taken from the dead, and people offer their memories to be taken once they're dead so that they can be left for other people and they can leave a record of their lives. And maybe there are some people who are saying, I don't want some of these memories anymore, but maybe as a society, perhaps it's frowned upon, and any magic that could go about erasing things from people's pasts is completely forbidden, hushed up, and it's very difficult to get to. All right, so they're not an evil group of people then. They're just a group of people who are fighting for some rights. They want to change the world a little bit, but not in a really big way. They just want to change the world for themselves and other people like them. All right, this group needs a name. All right, I'm going to be brave. Okay, this group needs a name, and we're going to find it in here today. All right, this is just not going to work. All right, come on. One. Okay. All right. This group of freedom fighters needs a name, and their name is Wildflower. All right. I like that. Okay, so the group is not called Wildflower. Maybe they're called the Wildflowers. Yeah, okay. So in a world where things aren't rigid and structured, but people do set a lot of store by customs and memories, and they're letting the world tick on. They are, they're creating more things and they encourage growth and new things, but they really set a great store in learning from the past and keeping memories and everything alive. And there are some people who don't want to do that. They want the world to continue to do that. But as people, they want to not only make new things, but they also want to be able to forget some of the bad things that have happened to them. Maybe some of them take it to the extreme and they want to erase all bad memories from not just them, but other people. And maybe there are some people in the group who aren't quite as radical, for lack of a better word, and they just want to get rid of some of their worst experiences and memories, and they want to be better people for it. And maybe there are some people in the group who think that they will stop at nothing to get this memory erasure, whatever they can do, even if it means forgetting who they are entirely, having complete amnesia. There are maybe some people in the group who would be willing to suffer through that simply because it would mean that they forgot all the bad things they went through. And this group is called the Wildflowers. Maybe they chose that name because it's not immediately obvious that it's a secret organisation. If people ever heard that word, they're not going to immediately think, suspicious. Perhaps because the world itself is lush and green, but they also have great built-up cities and libraries. I'm imagining that every built-up town and city would have several libraries, and every single library would have swirling staircases and those ladders that are on wheels as well, because it's just so cool. But yeah, the Wildflowers are a group who are trying to fight for the right to forget things should you choose them, and some of them are more extreme than others. All right, I'm not even going to think about what the next word is for, I'm just going to see what happens. All right, this word is kerfuffle. All right, so there's a kerfuffle going on. Maybe if this is at the beginning of a D&D campaign or at the beginning of a story setting, that kind of thing, the kerfuffle can be what is setting things in motion. So maybe a small kerfuffle. Or maybe there are lots of kerfuffles going on all over the world. I love that kerfuffle is now just plural. What is the plural of kerfuffle? Kerfuffles? Kerfuffi? So there are lots of kerfuffi happening all across the world of Vellichor. Maybe some of it is to do with these group, the Wildflowers, and they're spreading out all over the place. And some of it would be to do with that disease, the Dysplasia thing. And maybe some of it can be because people believe that the Wildflowers are responsible for the Dysplasia. because they're all about wanting to forget stuff, and then this disease comes along that's making people forget, and so maybe there's a lot of people who are accusing them of like witchcraft and necromancy and stuff and diving into like dark evil magics, and they've created this curse of a disease that's sweeping through the land because they want everyone to forget. And maybe there's some leaders who, maybe some of the leaders are secretly responsible. Maybe there's a whole thing going on within the Wildflowers where some of them are good and trying to do it for the right reasons, but maybe there's a corrupt group of people in the Wildflowers, and maybe they did somehow get involved with demons or creating this Dysplasia disease, or maybe they're desperate to get it and they want to test it on some of their people first. So they're using some of the Wildflowers that they initiate, and they're trying to get them to catch the disease so they can look at its effects on them and see how it works. All right, I got dark real quick. Let's pick another word. Alright, you know what? There's only 4 left, so I'm going to use them all. I'm going to finish making this word and I'm going to use all these words. Alright, this one's another long one. Why are there so many T's? TATTARRATTAT. That just sounds like something I play on a drum. TATTARRATTAT. Hold please while I check what the fuck this means. You are shitting me. TATTARRATTAT means a knock at the door. I thought it was just rat-a-tat-tat. Have I been wrong? Have I been lying to you my whole life? So TATTARRATTAT, rat-a-tat-tat. I love the word, by the way, but rat-a-tat-tat, this is the word. So, knock at the door, 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 knock at the door. Is, I'm going Doctor Who here. TATTARRAT, that's the short version. TATTARRAT is the name of a... I don't want to say prediction because that's... I don't like the whole Chosen One prophecy things. Okay, alright. TATTARRAT is the name of the only story ever in the whole of Vellichor to not be told. TATTARRAT is either the title or the name of something from the story that was written down at one point but then destroyed. And the only thing that we know about this story is that it happened many centuries ago, like thousands of years ago, and it was about a knock at the door. And some people think that it's about like death coming and knocking for you and what to expect. Some people think it's a prophecy that somebody one day will come to an important person and knock upon the door. Some people think it's a warning, some people think it's a blessing, some people think many different things. But the story of TATTARRAT is the only tale in the whole world that has never been written down and nobody remembers what it's about. Nice. See, I can make a knock at the door sound ominous. All right, next word. All right, there is 3 left. Alright, number 1. Alright. Petrichor. 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 I'm gonna go find out what it means. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I looked this up and it is kind of cute. Petrichor. The smell of rain. Alright, Petrichor. Petrichor, the smell of rain. That is... I really want it to be the name of, like, the protagonist. But if this is a D&D world, I'm not gonna, you know, give you guys a protagonist. So maybe it's the name of a character. We haven't named anybody yet. So Petrichor is the name of somebody. And they can be elf, human. I'll leave that up to you guys. You can tell me, who do you think Petrichor is down in the comments? All I will say about them is that Petrichor is very young, pretty brand new in the world. As they were growing up, all Petrichor wanted to be was a sonder. They wanted to grow up to learn all the stories. They wanted to be in charge of getting more of them and going all across the world, traveling and adventuring and meeting as many people as possible. And the prospect of a longer life really intrigued them as well. Even if they're an elf, this would be an extended life, even if they're an elf. So whatever race you decide to make them, it would still have a significance to them that they could live much longer than they were supposed to. Petrichor could be somebody who's an NPC your characters meet, or they could just be someone you write about, someone you meet in the world. I don't care, what you do with this world is entirely up to you. Petrichor then is young and a little naive because they've travelled a little bit, but they don't know the ways of the world yet. All they know is what they've been taught as they've grown up. They've been taught that Sonder is the ultimate dream, that this is what everyone should aspire to be, and they do really want to be that. But maybe as they're growing, they're learning more about the wildflowers and what's going on there. And they're discovering that their opinions might not align with the whole world as it stands right now. Potentially as well, if you want a really easy motive for Petrichor, you could make some of their family have come into contact with the Dysplasia disease, and then they could have a real reason to go hunting down these people because, Yeah, perhaps they're on a vengeance mission. Heck yeah, scrap the whole naive, bumbling fanboy act. They can be on a mission of revenge. Their entire village, their entire family, everyone that they love, the person they were going to ask to date them, everyone is gone because of this disease. And while Petticoat is on a mission of vengeance and revenge, and they're going to hunt down the wildflowers because they have learned all these things and they believe they are responsible, what they might end up discovering is the more interesting question should be, how come I'm immune to it? Alright, we'll leave Petticoat there for now. Tell me what you think they will be like down in the comments below. Alright, let's do it. 2 more. Alright. I'm not going to write like the ending of Petticoat's story. I'd like to leave that open for you guys to do. I'm giving you homework. Alright, one of my favourite words in the entire world. I put this in for a reason. Shenanigans. I can't remember who put this in chat, but I love you to pieces. I love everyone who put ideas in chat, but yeah. And even if you didn't put ideas in chat, I still adore you to the end of the earth. Alright, Shenanigans. Maybe Shenanigans is the name of a bar. Alright, I'm thinking, imagine Glorious Gilmore owned a bar. Fuck it. Shenanigans the Bar is one of the most popular bars in the entire world of Vellichor. People come from miles around to come to this bar. It's absolutely beloved. They brew their own ale, they brew their own wine, they have amazing food, and the people who co-own it are the most delightful people in the entire world. One of them might be a very, very handsome and attractive magical man, and his partner, boyfriend, fiance, husband is a, you know, very dark, long-haired elf who sneaks around a lot and doesn't like to be center of attention, but really likes pulling pranks on people. I'm just saying. And they have merch. They have pins and badges and cloaks and shirts, everything. They have headbands, jewelry, everything, the works. Shenanigans has merchandise. All right, this is the last one. Let's see where the world is gonna go from here. What is the state of the world? I read that wrong. Muffaletta. Don't. Muffaletta, the final word. Just gonna go and have a quick check of what this means. Oh my god. Alright, it turns out muffaletta is a type of bread, and I am here for it. And just to tie everything together then, so we've got the world of Vellichor, we've got the Sondeur, the people who go around travelling collecting stories, we've got the Tower of LORIEL, where the original texts that were written down are kept and stored safely. We've got the disease, we've got Dysplasia, we've got the group The Wildflowers and all the shenanigans that's going on there. We've got the bar, Shenanigans. We've got a character called Petticoat who's off on a revenge mission for their family. We've got the TATTARRATTAT tale, the only story that was lost completely to history, and it's something about a knock at the door. I'm going to have muffaletta as sort of the signature piece of this whole world. Everybody knows how to make this, and there's various recipes. You can make it for cheap with minimal ingredients and it can still taste good if you haven't got a lot of money. You can make it with all these fancy ingredients, all the trappings, all the trimmings, and it can still be served at the most eloquent, sumptuous banquets. Maybe it's something of a staple for people who travel the world as well. They try the different recipes from all across the continents and they all taste similar, but they're also very, very different. And maybe that's one of the key features of just how diverse the population is. The way that they all create this one dish, the muffaletta bread that everyone knows and enjoys, but they all know it as a different thing. Some people might know it as this sweet, fruity thing. Some people would know it as this very plain, basic ration food kind of thing. And some people might know it as a saving grace when they're off exploring different countries and worlds or woodlands and that, and all they have to eat and all they can make is the muffaletta bread. Alright then, so I've now created a fantasy world for you. Welcome to the bare bone structure of Vellichor. I now gift this unto you guys, anyone watching this video today. Vellichor is now yours to share, enjoy, and do whatever you would like with. Please let me know down in the comments below if you have any ideas for it, what you would like to do with it, what you might use it for, and you have absolutely full permission. Use it for D&D or any of the things I talk about today, any of the ideas that I had. Use it in any way you would like to. I do not mind at all, but please, please, please tag me in any content that you create with it because I want to see, and also chuck it down in the comments below as well. If you don't share it publicly, just, yeah, let me know what's going on. I'd love to see what happens. Well, so that brings us to the end of this week's Monday Madness. Thank you very much for joining me, my wonderful jelly spoons, and welcome to Vellichor. I have a Ko-fi and a Patreon. I'm pointing to the top of the page like they're gonna be there. FLOCCINAUČINIHILIPILIFICATION. FLOCCINAUČINIHILIPILIFICATION. Why are there so many T's? FLOCCINAUČINIHILIPILIFICATION.